personal injury cases, cheating spouses, missing persons, criminal defense, fraud cases. The list of private investigation case types is very extensive indeed. When questions arise in legal matters like these, private investigators may be called in to help solve the mystery, find the smoking gun, and help make or break the case. There are investigative career opportunities at all kinds of employers today, such as corporations, government agencies, and law firms. But if you want to specialize in one or two fields or be your own boss, then becoming a private investigator, a PI, might be the right move for you. Despite all of the stories, movies, and TV shows about fictional private eyes, there's a lot that you may not know about the real world of private investigations. I will be going over the top 5 things you probably do not know about the PI industry that most private investigators wished you did know. The first thing to discuss is the fact that private investigators are not lawyers. We do not have law degrees, or at least most PIs don't have law degrees, nor is a law degree required or necessarily helpful to being a PI. Don't get me wrong, private investigators do need to know a lot about the laws regarding being a private investigator, how they need to conduct investigations from start to finish, and what they can and cannot do. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. And since PIs are not lawyers, well, they can't give you legal advice. They can discuss your case or your situation with you, and they can give you their opinion of that particular situation based on their experience. But as I said, they cannot give you legal advice. Legal advice, for all intents and purposes, is a professional opinion given on legal matters, typically by an attorney or a lawyer regarding specific factual situations. It involves applying legal principles to a client's circumstances and providing recommendations on how they should proceed. This might include advising on legal options, potential outcomes, and the best course of action based on the law. A private investigator will, or at least they should, give you options of how they can investigate your case, how they can help find the evidence for you, and what they can do overall. Another thing to keep in mind, not only can they not give legal advice, but they also cannot guarantee the outcome of the investigative work they will conduct for you. You see, a private investigator is what is referred to as a finder of the fact. Their job is to investigate on your behalf and then provide you with the evidence they discovered during the investigation. Now, private investigators do often work for law firms, attorneys, and lawyers, to be sure. They might be asked to find information for criminal cases, such as fraud or theft, or civil matters, such as vehicle accidents or divorces. As they gather evidence and build their investigation, the investigator needs to know what they can and cannot do to help protect you, help protect the rights of others, and to ensure the integrity of the investigation as a whole. This would include understanding state and federal laws and knowing how to navigate the criminal and civil court systems. It is quite easy in today's world for a PI to violate things like the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, or violate an individual's reasonable expectations of privacy, or violate the rules, regulations, and laws that pertain to their licensing. Another thing most PIs wish everyone else knew is that private investigators do more than surveillance. Yep, I know, it's hard to believe, but we do not all just sit inside a car all day watching people, following people around, and get video of their daily activities. PIs also conduct investigations like locates, where we track down an individual or an asset for that matter. We also do public research, or what is often referred to as OSINT, or open source intelligence investigations. PIs might also do accident investigations, criminal defense investigations, fraud investigations, process serving, and a whole lot more. We are not just the people sitting behind the dark tinted windows in a van, parked down the street, watching you all day long. Now, yes, surveillance is a major area of work for many private investigators. When I got started as a PI back in 2008, surveillance was all I did day in and day out, 6 to 7 days a week. But as time went on, I got training for other areas of investigation and expanded my investigative offerings, and now surveillance is quite low on the list of services my company offers. I am getting too old to sit inside a car for 10, 12, 16 hours or more a day, not to mention the brutal conditions of cooking inside a surveillance car in the summer and freezing in the winter. Private investigators today need a wide variety of skills to succeed. They need to know how to access public records. They need to know how to do backgrounds. They need to know what they can and cannot report on those backgrounds. And they need a good set of technical skills too. PIs write reports every day, and those reports are often the most valuable service that they provide. Those investigative reports must detail the investigation and paint a picture of what facts were discovered and how those facts pertain to their investigation. Private investigators have a ton of desk work to do too, besides just writing reports. They have to do accounting for their business. They have to do sales for their business. They have to do the marketing for their business. On top of all that, they also need to have some general knowledge and skills in interviewing, taking scene photos, giving testimony, and the list goes on and on. One thing those fictional PIs in the movies, TV shows, and books do get right is the fact that some private investigators do conduct surveillance. However, they miss the mark when it comes to how exciting that surveillance can be. Yes, there are moments of excitement. Yes, there are moments of adrenaline rushes. And yes, there can be some level of danger while doing surveillance. But for the most part, surveillance is boring. Yes, boring. And that may be an understatement too. It can be monotonously boring to no end. You will just sit there for hours, staring out a window, waiting for something or nothing to happen. And when something does happen, well, you will usually have just a few seconds to grab some video, take a photo, or observe and document the activity. And then you may have to go on mobile surveillance and follow the subject to the grocery store, a fast food joint, or some other place. And yes, that can be exciting, but it can also be nerve-wracking, as this is the time when it is most likely to get burned or lose the subject altogether. And once the subject returns home, it is back to sitting in the car, all alone, quietly staring out the window, waiting for something to happen or not. Based on my experience, most surveillance days have little to no activity. Yep, I just sat there for 8, 10, 12 or more hours, staring at a door, waiting for nothing to happen. But you always have to be on full alert just in case anything does happen, so you can grab that money shot. Another thing that most people do not know about the private investigations industry is that there is a high demand for private investigators. There are companies in every major market in the United States looking for employees and subcontractors. According to a recent study I read, the PI industry is projected to grow by about 13 to 25% over the next 5 years. That means there is a lot of opportunities for you to get into the PI field if you so desire. But is it really that simple? Most large firms that hire PIs pay less than what can be made if somebody works for themselves. And if you are an employee, well, you have little to no ability to decide what cases you take and how you handle the investigation or any other decision making in the entire process. You just get sent a case and you go work it per their standard operating procedures. So should you be a self-employed PI? Will you make more money by opening your own PI firm? Well, that all depends. You see, you can set your own fees as a self-employed PI. You can set your hours as a self-employed PI. You can take the cases you want and turn down the cases you don't want as a self-employed PI. But there are ramifications to all of that, to be sure. To start off, it is not easy, to be sure, to start your own PI company. Now, I'm not talking about starting up a company, getting an LLC, or starting a corporation, opening a banking account, getting a website and a phone number, business cards, and all of that startup jazz. The big secret is that just because you open your PI business, got the website, got the phone number, the business cards, it does not mean customers will be knocking down your door just to work with you. In fact, based on my experience, it will take at least 3 years, at the very least, to start to see some level of success in your PI business, pretty much like any other startup business out there. In fact, based on what I have seen, and I have seen a lot of PIs come and a lot of PIs go, you need to have a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, and then a 10-year plan if you're going to succeed. And that plan needs to include financial resources to get you through those first 3 to 5 years. You will most likely not have a full-time income for many years. I, like many other PIs, had to have a full-time gig when I started my PI career and work my PI career into a full-time gig over time. Now here's another huge secret most people do not know about private investigators. Many private investigators do not need to be licensed, but the vast majority do. Most states have some level of PI licensing in place, and those licenses have many varied requirements such as education, experience, testing, insurance, and bonding. And for the states that do not have PI licensing, well, it is not necessarily a free-for-all. There are a lot of larger cities that have PI licensing in place as well. There are plenty of laws already in place that set the playing field and protect the public from fraud, infringement of privacy rights, and other allegations that may be made against a PI. Now here is another big secret about becoming a private investigator. You might already be training for your private investigations career. Just watching this video puts you way ahead of the competition. You already know way more than most people about the PI industry. And you can continue to learn more. Just check out the hundreds of training videos I have right here on the PI Guy YouTube channel, and go to www.howtobeapi.com. Sign up for my newsletter and check out all of the training resources that I have there.